Hello everyone. This time let me share some of the tips and tricks of writing efficient email subject lines. Now why is it so important? Well, the reason is simple. The primary object of every email is that it must be seen by the intended recipients. Now, if you make his or her job easier, it's your benefit, right? So here it goes. The first trick I would like to share about is that try to use reference tags in the subject lines. Now, it may all seem theoretical at this point until I show you some examples. Now, for example, if you are referring somebody for a job internally in the company and you have been given a CV, it makes sense that you give a reference tag that of the job as well as the person you are referring to or from whom it has been referred to. It's important that you refer to the job position as well as the person from whom you have been referred this particular resume. Now notice I have included this less than sign and greater than sign towards the beginning and end. This is what I refer as tag. Another example could be the status tag. Well, if I have this particular subject line saying March 2016 travel cost approval pending, if I add a tag that says important, eventually it has a higher chance of being seen with utmost importance than the other one which did not have the tag. Another example could be when I've received some document and I just want to relay a message saying that I've received it, I might write EOM, which means end of mail. The implication is that the user, the end recipient, may not look at the subject matter or the body of the entire email because there's nothing written inside. It's just a simple message. It's like a short messaging system, SMS. That's all. Now, the reason I use this sometimes is because when I'm sending a particular message to a senior person, he may not have the time to go through the entire text. He's on the move. All he looks at is the importance of the email from the subject line of the email from the mobile application, and I just make his job easier. Another example could be writing urgent. When you're sending an email outside your organization, the end user may not be using Outlook and the features of specialist email management systems. In which case, it makes sense to write the word urgent or important in a tag like this. In fact, there are times when you erroneously send an email out and quickly you realize the mistake and you again resend a particular email. Now, it's important that you mention this ignore previous to avoid any confusion. So these are examples of reference tags. Now, let me also give some importance to the fact that you must indicate the purpose. Now, what is the purpose? Well, as we refer to our last example where we were forwarding a particular CV, it makes sense to give the purpose for whom, for the position of marketing manager. Another important feature of having an efficient subject line is indicate the timeline. The deadline by which the task must be completed or how much days allocated to complete the task, and in certain cases the exact date. So if I'm trying to invite people to attend an Excel training which is supposed to be conducted in my organization in next few weeks, then instead of just writing Excel training, I might as well write an invitation, Excel training, the location Mumbai, and the most important part, the date, to help them remind later, okay, it's on 25th of April 2016. Another example of timeline could be when I'm a product company and I have got a new tariff chart from the senior management and I wish to distribute this to all the distributors across the country, in which case I will prefer having this subject line saying new tariff plan, Plan India, and effective 1st June 2016. Now this is very clear, so if somebody wants to get into the details he can, but the main important part of this tariff chart which begins affecting the distributors and the end consumer is from 1st June 2016. Another important thing about subject line is that you must indicate the response type, the action that is required to be taken. So one example could be if you're having to propose a meeting on social media strategy, instead of having this plain vanilla subject line, you can instead go for this request for meeting. So basically it's the action that is expected, that you must approve it, request for meeting. Or is it an invitation? Or your approval could be needed for a casual leave next week which I'm applying for. And in some cases, you might also give a tag which indicates no action is required to be taken. And in this case, attachment has been sent out and it's just for the records, no further action needed. Aha! A very important part of getting your work done and make it see its final threshold and make it see its completion is reminders and follow-up. Now, there are various methods to do so, and I'm sharing some of the variations. One could be it's a reminder. Another could be it's being sent again. This has a higher prominence level because this is telling you that I've already sent this email once before. Why don't you look at it and act upon it? Aha. Next part, attachments. Now, most common method of writing a text when you are sending an attachment out is please find attached. Well, there are two important things. Quite often, the attachments is a file which needs some rework from the other user. He'll send me the file again and I'll look at it, review it, again change the version and send it back. In this case, what happens? Confusion prevails. Which is the latest version of file you must refer to. And that confusion is waste of time. So, it makes sense that you also mention the version v5.2, 5.3, 5.4 and so on, and later if any major changes have happened, then v6, v7 and so on and so forth. It also makes sense that you can put a tag saying attachment. This catches somebody's attention, and even if he doesn't scroll down the email right to the last, he can just find out there is an attachment. In fact, there are times when email interfaces like Gmail will tell you that you have missed attaching a document, especially if you mention something like attachment or attach in your email and there are no attachments in the email. Now, the obvious don'ts are: do not use all capital letters in your subject line. Maybe one or two words to highlight somebody's attention, but not the entire sentence. Another don't is, do not include a conversation style in the subject line. Something like it was nice to meet you, hi there, or simply greetings. It should just summarize the essence of the entire message in that particular line. Now, all these tricks that we discussed enhances searchability. So when you look for a particular subject line later, from the search box of your email client, you can easily type in the word, maybe the date, maybe the tag, and it is easy to filter them out. So this enhances searchability. Now, before I proceed, just one more point, that please avoid any kind of spelling mistake to creep inside the subject line. At times, somebody else might be sending an email and you just forward or reply to all. If you see a subject line having a spelling mistake, please correct this there and then. Because later, if you try to search for the word strategy in the subject line, it will not appear given the incorrect spelling. So this was all about writing efficient email subject lines. Just quickly recapitulating, use reference tags with the less than and greater than sign on the other two sides of the sentence or word. Indicate purpose. So we took an example where we forwarded a CV saying it's for a marketing manager. Indicate timeline. If it's important or it requires 7 days of work or it's an event which is going to happen next week, please do indicate timeline. Also indicate response type, which means it's a reminder or it could be an invitation, it could be approval pending or approval awaited. Any response type, it's good that you mention that right up front. For reminders and follow-up, resent, reminder, being resent again, sending again, all these key phrases will help get more prominence in the inbox of the end user. And finally, all this points out to searchability. Hope to see your next email in my inbox using the same tips and tricks. Bye for now.
I hope you enjoyed our YouTube videos, and I really appreciate that if you could subscribe to our videos, which will also encourage me to give more such videos in the times to come. And you can also watch some of our popular programs which have been liked by a lot of viewers. See you soon.